Hello, everyone. This is, well, beyond an honor. And so many of you that I did teach, I got to say hello to, but I know I didn't get to see Nolan yet. So Nolan, where are you? I need you to just wave to me. Oh, hi. Anyway, trying to make this not about me because the first thing I need to say is when Mrs. Uzier emailed me to tell me that I was asked to do this, I was obviously beyond touched. As a teacher, we hope to make a difference, and this was just more than I could have imagined with these two wonderful girls. But this is not about me. So after Mrs. Uzier asked me, so many memories just kept flooding and flooding and flooding. And it's funny what happens, well, when you're my age and you have an old brain and you're letting your gray hair just go and happen. It's the little things that you remember most. So Catherine, this is, and this memory comes up often. I am getting ready for the early childhood program, a Christmas program. And I'm a little bit stressed because, well, in those days, our sound system wasn't always great. And, you know, we had just a few little obstacles to overcome, but they totally have it down now. And in walks Catherine in her red velvet Christmas dress with this adorable smile. And I just looked at her mom and said, "There's a little snow angel. I feel better." And it's just a very, very fond memory. And one that comes up all the time about you, girl, is I did a lot of summer camp shows, and I don't know how I came up with some of them, because some of them were pretty strange. I can't even remember the name of this one, where I said, actually, I think I asked your mom first. I said, "Chris, do you think Sarah's going to be okay if I ask her to play a man?" And I think he's a custodian, but it's a really, really cool role. And she just said, "Well, I'll ask." And then before I knew it, they were at Goodwill buying the coolest outfit for a man. What was it? Do you remember the name of this show? Do you remember the show? Do you remember this?
I remember the show, yes.
And you are adorable. And so when I was at and just so many of those kind of just wonderful, fond memories, and it's just fabulous. This morning when I was trudging away at the gym, two words came into my head, and I don't know where they came from, and it was innocence and magic. And I feel like that's what these girls have, and so many of you that I know, and probably those of you that I don't know. Innocence from all of the beautiful work you did with me, and how much you put your all in it, and that little innocent Alice in Wonderland. And then the heart of the show was this girl that performed the magic. So I just want to say to you, I hope you always keep your innocence and your magic, because you girls, I love you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so, hey guys, I'm Sarah Kimberly, if you don't know me.
I'm Catherine.
Yes, we are faculty kids.
And yes, we did go to the lower school.
Yes, we have been in Holy Trinity basically our entire lives.
And yes, we are completely sheltered from the real world, and we know absolutely nothing because we've only gone to the lower school.
However, Holy Trinity has become, in a way, like a second home for both of us. And because of this, there is a lot of people that we have grown close to during our time here. No matter how often we feel that they give us a hard time, the teachers here truly do care about us. From my first day on campus here, I remember being openly welcomed by my kindergarten teacher, Miss Novak, and instantly feeling like I had found a home away from home. Another person who had a tremendous influence on both Catherine and myself was Mrs. Ernewine. She really was the first one to introduce us to theater with shows like Flat Stanley and Alice in Wonderland. You guys are the real ones if you know what that is. And who inspired me to continue to act at the upper school. And thank goodness she did.
For me personally, 3rd grade was the first time I learned like real discipline. This discipline was implemented by my 3rd grade teacher, Mr. Gomez. And Mr. Gomez was known to give laps around the track as punishment. So in August of 3rd grade, that was like my first kind of like discipline, I guess. And I probably was just like talking like in class, and then I was given a lap around the track, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like real life now. Like I have to like get it together because discipline. So shout out to everyone at the lower school, and you guys probably remember everything about this place, from the I Care Cat rules to walking on blue lines in the hallways. And to get our attention, we would go. Yeah. So, anyways, enough of the lower school. As a class, we have a lot to remember and experiences that we share together at this time, but we should probably move on to the upper school. When we went from 6th grade to 7th grade, in 6th grade, we were the top dogs at the lower school. Like, everyone looked up to us, like, no one could touch us. But then, when we went to 7th grade, we were what the upper school kids ate for breakfast. We were the little fish in the big pond. And personally, I thought I was so cool because my mom worked at the upper school, and my brother, Daniel Welch, he was like the star quarterback of the football team, so I was like, oh, okay, like everyone knows me. But really, I was just known as Miss Welch's daughter or Daniel's little sister, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm still known as the front office lady's daughter, so that's pretty much it.
Entering junior high, we thought where we sat at lunch and who we sat with was the biggest ordeal. And after worrying and finally making up our minds, we were then convinced that these were going to be our friends for the rest of the upper school. But then it was kind of a slap in the face that things actually do change, and sometimes it's for the better. Throughout life, we often take things for granted because we are too busy focusing on the minute aspects of our lives, like social status, but honestly, life is about what makes yourself happy and living out your life to the fullest. So as we go through these last 70 or so days left of high school, let's go through it together as a class, because no one knows what the future holds for any of us, and no one knows when it could be the last time that you see someone.
So, I have a confession to make. Even though I'll probably be deemed a social outcast and shamed for the rest of my high school days, it's time everyone knew. I do not know a single TikTok dance. Not one, not a single one. I don't get how it works, and to be honest, I'm not sure I really understand the point. That's just me. Not to degrade anybody that does make TikToks, because I think the amount of effort and work put into them is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But despite this flaw of mine, I'm still pretty confident that I'm going to be able to walk across the stage in May and go out into the world and make something of myself. Because in 10 years, things that seemed crucial in high school will not matter anymore. How many views your TikToks got will not matter. How many followers you have on social media will not matter. A bad test grade here and there will not matter. How many parties you did or did not go to will not matter. Okay, I know some of you are probably like, okay, Boomer, we've heard this before, but actually think about it. What will matter to us in 10, 20, or even 50 years from now? It's the people, not the events. Someone told me once, a teacher told me that life is like the stage. You are the lead of your own production. Within this production, you have other characters who make an appearance on the stage alongside you. There are main characters that never leave your side and who are constant figures in your life. These are the people you depend on, your rocks. And then you have your supporting characters that may only impact your life for a brief time before they exit off stage and are never to be heard from again. If you were to look around the room right now, I'm sure you'd probably spot a couple people who you'd cast as main characters in your personal production. However, the more likely scenario is that most of us are just supporting characters to one another and probably won't contact one another ever again once we cross that stage in May. We'd like to think that won't be the case and that most of us will stay in touch with one another, but we all know how the story goes. Some people stay and some people go. Sure, it can be hard, but that's just part of your story.
So to conclude this walk down memory lane, I would just like to say to just be kind to everyone and enjoy every day, because our days are very limited together and we honestly don't know what, like, anything could happen. But I would just like to thank everyone for listening to
Thank
us.
you for listening to us.